Okay, we are live. Making sure we got a good basis here, of course. The hell is this? Wow. Anyway, enough about news. Welcome to the Wrestling Pod. I'm your host, Carlito Santiago, and today we're here to talk about what went down on Monday Night Raw, ladies and gentlemen, and some big news for Backlash as we got 3 matches officially made for the event. If you guys aren't, hopefully you should, be subscribed, do me a favor, and drop a like. Comment down below and turn on those post notifications so you never miss a stream. We got the Bleacher Report. I'm going to bring this down. I think, yeah, doesn't matter. Bring this down. So, Monday Night Raw was live in Laredo, Texas. Hopefully I'm getting that right for any Texans out there. With the repercussions of WrestleMania 42 still being felt across the company, WWE rolls into Laredo, Texas for a packed episode of Raw headlined by the appearances of Roman Reigns and Becky Lynch. Who cares? Seth Rollins sort of kicked off Raw. We had a pre-taped promo, the Usos taking turns pleading their case with Roman, being basically the angel and the devil on the shoulder of Roman Reigns, deciding what he wants from Fatu. The tribal chief ended by saying he would address the Samoan werewolf later tonight. In the arena, Rollins made his way to the ring, fired up over the events of last week, and wasted no time addressing Braun Breakker. Rollins took credit for putting 9 staples on the back of Breakker's head before the badass hit the ring. Rollins put over Breakker as the next big star in the industry, but called out his mind. He said betting on himself only got him Logan Paul and Austin Theory, steak dinners, and happy endings from Paul Heyman. Breakker took exception, claiming he was on his way to being a main event star and knocked Rollins' health, suggesting his shoulder cannot handle the weight of a title on it anymore. The back and forth exchange of insults concluded with Visionary laying down a challenge for a match at Backlash, which we can now confirm is going to happen. Braun Breakker and Seth Rollins will be in Tampa. Can't wait to make my prediction on that. But graded an A, and it felt with both men having lost to CM Punk. So CM Punk can gloat and watch this and say, both of these men already, so I don't know. Let them go at it. I don't give a fuck. Penta took on Rusev, ladies and gentlemen. All Ego Ethan Page. Ego. Watched from ringside as the Intercontinental Champion Penta battled Rusev in a non-title action to kick off the in-ring portion of Monday Night Raw. The Bulgarian Brute dominated the action into the commercial break, but Penta sparked a comeback that saw him fight his way back into the ring and down to Rusev for a near fall. While he was not able to keep the heel down immediately, Penta ultimately scored the victory, only to find himself on the receiving end of a 2-on-1 beatdown before Javon Evans made the save, fighting off stage and then delivering the OG cutter to Rusev. Graded a C+, but I think I'm going to knock it up to a B-, simply because I know what this could be leading to. If Adam Pearce is going to be leading this into a good fatal 4-way match to give him more of an edge, like Penta already defended his title in a ladder match against 6 people. Now we're going to have him in a fatal 4-way. I think that's fun. I think that's a fun little fatal 4-way to have. You have Javon Evans, Penta, Rusev, and All Ego Ethan Page. And it'd be great to snatch one for All Ego Ethan Page on the main roster to give him a good, feud with Penta saying, I'm going to take the IC title. Because honestly, right now, I feel like the IC champion, we need a heel IC champion. And All Ego is going to be All Ego with it. He's great. He's all, and I was telling this to my friend at work. Ethan Page, his character's gimmick is so great. He's an instigator, and he's so fucking good at it. He's so I don't know. It's so great because he's the type of guy that you want to slap in the face, and that's great for a heel. If there are people who want to slap you in the face or get a fucking punch your dumb looking face, that's great because that's what people want to. That's what that's an ultimate, like, that's how you know you're classic heel. When your enemies start loving you. Trick Williams knows how it feels. But yeah, I mean, even if you watch him in AEW, like Ethan Page just came off as he's just all ego, man. All ego. C+, I'm gonna knock it to a B-. Becky Lynch cut a promo and issued a challenge, which of course came next. Becky, 1 week removed from regaining the Women's IC champion, Becky returned to Raw to discuss her win, telling the fans that while she was walking up the ramp with her daughter at WrestleMania, she knew she had to show her what being a real champion is about. So she issued an open challenge for a match, which Io Sky gladly accepted to a thunderous ovation in the Sames Auto Arena. Lynch laughed it off, equating the Genius of the Sky to Marty Jannetty to Rhea Ripley's Shawn Michaels. Sky knocked her down before Raw General Manager came out and made the match official. So, and of course, Big Time Bex gets a cheap shot in before entering a break and getting the match on the way. That is one way to make up for the abrupt ending to Sky's storyline with Asuka and the now released Kairi Sane. I guess. Graded a B, and now we get to the match itself, which I honestly think it was pretty fucking good. Lynch controlled the action coming out of the break, dictating the pace and, of course, keeping her rival grounded. A missile dropkick from the challenger changed that as Sky built momentum and had the crowd on their feet for her comeback. She delivered a sunset flip. I don't know why I did that with my lip. She delivered a sunset flip bomb on the floor that drove the air out of the champion, heading into another commercial break. So back from the timeout, the fans of Laredo showered the combatants with chants of "This is awesome." Sky responded with a tornado DDT to Lynch. She tried the over the moonsault, but Lynch got her boots up. Of course, a manhandle slam followed, and the babyface kicked out at 2. After Sky delivered a springboard moonsault to the floor, Asuka arrived on the scene, costing her former teammate the match as Lynch retained following a manhandle slam. Afterwards, the Empress of Tomorrow trapped her rival in the Asuka lock and stood over her to close things out. And if you guys couldn't hear the chants, well, yeah, the chants are Kairi Sane, we want you back. Graded an A, and yes, we want Kairi Sane. We want Kairi, hashtag that. Now, Asuka versus Sky is going to happen at Backlash in Tampa, and it's a hot feud and should have a place on the Backlash card. Unfortunately, it lost considerable gravity with Kairi Sane's release, and yeah, I agree. I don't know what they're doing with this whole El Grande Americano or Rey Mysterio type thing, but fucking it's getting to the point where it's just lackluster on the case. Anyway, let's move on to some other shit here. As Joe Hendry had a concert. Yes. The former NXT and TNA World Champion Joe Hendry, say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. Greeted the WWE Universe with his first concert as a Raw superstar. So this confirms Joe Hendry is on Monday Night Raw. He announced that he has officially joined the Red Brand, then got to the point with his song called for Logan Paul to be fired. The Maverick was pissed, dude. I'm not going to be fired. I'm not going to be fired. You're not going to fire me. No one's going to fire me. You hear that, Austin Theory? Yeah, man. No one's going to fire you. The Maverick took exception, joined by Austin Theory in cutting a ranting promo. The heels eventually beat down Hendry, enjoying a 2-on-1 beatdown until the Street Profits made the save, clearing the ring of the heels. Hendry wiped out Paul Theory and joined the Prospects Tag Team Number Contenders in closing out the segment. So, knowing that the Street Profits are now on Monday Night Raw, we need a promo to explain this whole fucking Street Profits shit with the Vision. And to add to that, we need the Street Profits to be on the show too. So I guarantee next week they're probably going to do a tag team championship match between the Street Profits and the tag team champions, or they're going to put that on the show. They're going to put that on the, who knows? Actually, maybe they won't, because we are less than a week. Actually, we will be less than a week away, as it will be taking place May 9th, ladies and gentlemen, 2026 Backlash. C+, and yeah, that's what's getting graded. I mean, it was a fucking concert, and Logan Paul ranting was pretty good. So there's your plus. Rey Mysterio took on El Grande Americano. El Grande Americano expressed his desire to test himself against the greatest luchador of all time ahead of his mask versus mask match against the OG, El Grande Americano, in AAA. Now, the reason I'm sounding more Italian with it is because it's what it feels like. The luchador faced Le Mysterio in a singles competition. A back-and-forth battle escalated until Americano attempted to utilize a piece of metal in his mask, only for the OG to intervene, prevent the cheating, and set Mysterio up for the victory. After the match, a brawl between the two rival luchadors ensued. The last bit of hype for their upcoming battle on May 30th, AAA's Noche de las Grandes. Noche de las Grandes. Basically the night of the giants. As far as for English purposes. I'm Puerto Rican, so I can sort of translate based on, how they do it. But May 30th, that is literally Thursday. I hope. Yeah. That's a weird date to have that. Anyway, you can catch that Thursday on AAA on YouTube. But yeah, the lack of creativity between WTV and AAA is astounding. The current Americano is beloved hero in Mexico, while the OG is a hated villain. Yet instead of adapting the story to that reaction, WWE officials still stubbornly present the former as the heel in the story. It's almost a lack of brand awareness at this point. Like, I don't understand it. I don't know. Fucking imposter. There is no grading in this at all. I'm going to tell you right now. There's just going to be no grading in this. Also, I might have forgot to mention, as we kicked off the show too, might as well go back up and mention it because it was there without maybe realizing it. They didn't even fucking mention it. Okay. Stephanie Fakir is injured, legitimately. She was attacked. So this was her getting written off of TV. Liv Morgan and Roxanne and Raquel writing her off of TV. So I just wanted to point that out, that there was a thing backstage for that. Didn't think they mentioned it at all, but yeah. Liv Morgan issued a thinly veiled threat to Roxanne Perez, reminding her that she has plenty of time to sit at home and watch. She ended by telling Perez she would be in her corner. Finn Balor tried to warn her to be careful, but the prodigy was not interested. So let her sink, motherfucker. The product of a backstage confrontation, Oba Femi squared off with Grayson Waller in singles competition. Honestly, there's nothing here because this is just dominance. So for Oba Femi's performance, an A, but this is a squash at best, man. It went about as well as expected. The loudmouth Aussie, who was physically dominated and beaten down, Femi pinned him in a short order, just get a win. So after the match, the ruler announced the Oba Femi Open Challenge, but warned that anyone who stepped to him would face his wrath. And I love that. That's a great thing. Now that we don't have the U.S. I'm going to back this up a bit. Now that we don't have the U.S. Open Challenge because of Trick Williams, it's great to have an Open Challenge on Monday Night Raw. They were like, okay, U.S. Open Challenge. Well, I'm going to have Oba Femi Open Challenge. Fuck you guys. So, check it. If this is what they're going to do, sure, by all means, let it happen. It's just who's going to beat Oba Femi. I mean, if the end game is to have Roman Reigns and Oba Femi be the case, have Roman be the one to beat Oba Femi, that's big. That's huge. But that should be a SummerSlam thing or even a WrestleMania match. So I'm going to scratch the grade. I'm going to give an A to Oba Femi's performance and what they decide to do with him. But this was a squash, and there's no grade for squashing. We had a tag team match. It was Bayley and Lyra Valkyria and Raquel. Obviously, I believed Roxanne and Raquel were going to compete tonight. And of course, because they're in Texas and they're from Texas. Roxanne got a huge pop because she is from Texas, while Raquel, I believe, is somewhere, sort of somewhere near El Paso. But anyway, the hometown heroes of Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez battled against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria in a tag team competition with title implications, which I don't really care about. After several moments of the Judgment Day duo dominating the action, Bayley dropped Rodriguez and created separation, allowing her to tag Valkyria into the match. The former women's IC champion took the fight to Perez to the dismay of the crowd because, of course, remember, they're in Laura, Texas. The Prodigy fought back, but the role model escaped a Pop Rocks attempt and delivered a Bayley to belly for a 2 count. Moments later, Liv Morgan interjected herself in the match, drawing Bayley's attention. When the role model got physical, Morgan dropped down, sending the babyface into the top rope. Perez capitalized and delivered a Shannon Wizard along with a Pop Rocks for the 1-2-3 victory, ladies and gentlemen. Graded a B. And yeah, there was just no chance for Bailey Ladder or Kyrie Ladder coming up short. Like, this is insane. Anyway, graded a B. We can move on because this is repetitive. Yes, and this match, and I mean particularly this match, is considered repetitive. Roman Reigns cuts his promo to end the show. Roman Reigns wrapped up the show with a little nice bow, and he wanted an answer from Jacob Fatu's challenge. Remember, Jacob Fatu issued a challenge last week, so Roman Reigns came to give him, I guess, an in-ring answer. So, before he could, he talked about single-handedly elevating the World Heavyweight Championship. This brought out the Samoan Werewolf, who came face-to-face with his cousin for the Tribal Chief's backlash decision. Reigns told Fatu he hoped he made the right choice to unite the family rather than tear it apart. The prospect number one contender accused Reigns of being in his main event bubble and said that when his life was falling apart, it was Solo Sikoa who reached out to him. The world champion cut him off, calling him unhinged, and Fatu proved him right. He attacked Reigns with a mandible, let me clarify, it's not a mandible claw because that goes in your mouth, all right? He performed a Tongan death grip, which was Haku's move that was used. It was a mandible claw-like finisher or like submission move. That's why I wrote if you can see in the description of the title of this video or stream, it is that Jacob choked Reigns. He performed a Tongan death grip, leaving the Tribal Chief withering. Reigns told Fatu he would see him at Backlash. The new challenger said he would see the title holder next week on Raw for the final face-to-face. Graded a B+, and again, this is all good and shit, I like Reigns' idea of keeping the family together and not tearing it apart because that's what Reigns did. He's learning from his mistakes now as being a babyface considerably. But who knows? We'll just have to wait and see until Backlash. But what was the final grade? Well, this was a very strong episode of Monday Night Raw. Good in-ring work, some quality storyline advancements, a red-hot performance from the hometown heroine, Perez, and an exclamation point on a segment between Reigns and Fatu. Don't forget, of course, Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. Continuing to set the stage for Backlash PLE that has the potential to be one of the sleeper hits of the year. A strong thumbs up for this focused show, so graded an A, and I will agree to that. This was an A show. We don't need no MVPs here, Bleacher Report. So Chris Mueller, Eric Beeston, whoever the fuck wrote this, yeah, we don't need that. But thank you for the MVP. We don't even have to talk about that, but that's just a new thing you're going with. Anyway, what did you guys think of Monday Night Raw? Let me know in the comments down below. Again, don't forget to subscribe and drop a like and turn on those post notifications so you never miss a stream. I will be back on Saturday to give you the SmackDown summary. I got a lot of things planned out, so I think this will be a later stream, ladies and gentlemen. I think it will be a later stream on Saturday, or even an earliest one, maybe, depending on how things go about. Earliest, maybe 9 o'clock. Latest, 3. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Anyways, I'll see you guys there, and I'll try to get this all set up for next week. Backlash predictions will be, let's get it here, May 7th. May 7th will be the Backlash predictions, and you'll get my SmackDown summary on the 9th, and then on the 10th, you'll get the Backlash review. Okay? So I will see you guys on Saturday. Peace.